Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I want to talk about what Jonathan Allen said about the Washington Commanders and why he left for the Vikings, how the new regime with the Commanders handled everything, and more. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Trying to hit 16K subscribers, by the way, by the start of the draft. Let's get to that, hopefully, and comment down below your thoughts on the whole Jonathan Allen leaving, if you wanted him to stay, if you wanted him to leave, or whatever. I never fully made a video about it just because I was traveling, so I'll talk about it a little bit more today, and his career in Washington. But let's get right into it. And I thought this was cool, not like Jonathan Allen bashing the Commanders or anything, quite the opposite, him talking about the new regime and how they handled things. So he was on the Rich Eisen show and was asked why he left for the Vikings. He says the new regime came in, they had a path they wanted to follow, and I wasn't a part of that. So I mean, got to give them a lot of credit for doing me a favor by releasing me. And he later on talked about how he's excited to be reunited with Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, even though I don't even know how much of a relationship they had in Washington when he was here, just because Kevin O'Connell was the quarterback's coach and then the OC for a year. So I don't know, but this was getting a decent amount of attention on Twitter. See, this video has over 100,000 views, but yeah, I think what he said makes sense, and him saying that he wasn't really a part of the regime, I think that kind of shows you that Adam Peters and this regime, they want to get rid of all the Ron Rivera players that are not studs. They want to move on from them. So, John Allen was one of those guys. Forbes was another one of those guys. Jahan Dotson was another one of those guys. Jamin Davis was another one of those guys. Benjamin St. Juste, they let him go. Cameron Curl, Derek Forrest, the list goes on and on and on. I'm trying to think of other guys, even De'Ami Brown, he played for a year, but they let him go. There's not a lot of guys from the Ron Rivera regime that are still here. Sam Cosmi is one. Brian Robinson is another for now. And then John Bates got extended, so that's another guy. But those are really the only guys. Terry, he was here before that. John Allen, when he was here, I guess John Allen wasn't a part of the Ron Rivera regime, but he was a part of previous regimes. And I think Adam Peters just wanted to get his hands on new players and his own stamp on players. So that's kind of why they got rid of John Allen. And there's some other players that I'm trying to think, any other players that are still around from the Rivera regime. There's other guys I guess Reeves is still around. Tress Way, not from the Rivera regime, but he's still around from way before. So there's still some guys around, but not a lot. Drawn Payne from before the Ron Rivera regime. But it's cool to hear John Allen talk about it. He got a bag, so he got 20 mil-ish a year, so that's good for him. I don't think that would be a good contract for the Commanders to pay him, but they did pay Kinlaw a decent amount of money. But Kinlaw's younger, also has a lot of talent, but he hasn't produced, so we'll see what Kinlaw does. But yeah, it was just interesting to hear John Allen talk about how the new regime didn't really see Allen in their plans, but he it doesn't seem like he's salty about it at all. He probably did want to finish his career in Washington. He even talked about that. Not a lot of players do that, but I'm sure he wanted to finish out his career in Washington. He's from the Virginia area, went to Stonebridge High School, which is, as most of you guys know, pretty close to, the DMV area. It's right, for me, it's pretty close at least. But regardless, he probably wanted to finish his career out here, just started a family, so shout out to him. But it is what it is. He's still getting paid. He's still, getting a lot of money, so that's cool. And yeah, wishing him nothing but the best in Minnesota. He was here during the worst possible years, honestly, to be a Washington Redskins, Washington football team, Washington Commander. 3 different names. It was not pretty. I believe he was drafted 2017, right? Because it was 2017 him, 2018 was Payne, and then 2019 was, rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins, Montez Sweat, Terry, Holcomb, that whole draft class, which honestly, besides Haskins, again, rest in peace to him, but that was a decent class. I mean, not to go off topic, we got Terry, Jimmy Moreland, who was, all right, Cole Holcomb, you had some, Montez Sweat, you had some decent players there. But yeah, John Allen, 2017, and just not many good years. I mean, you had, he got hurt 2017 a little bit. 2018, they didn't make the playoffs. 2019, they didn't make the playoffs. 2020, they did, but it was a 7-9 season, and then a bunch of 7-9, 10-ish seasons, and then one good year here, but with a new regime. But he was hurt throughout most of the season, so it does suck for him that he doesn't get to continue here while the Commanders are really getting good again. But Minnesota isn't a bad team either. So, they got a young QB. We'll see how he plays, but they got a really good team. So, excited for John Allen. And like I said, wishing him nothing but the best. And it doesn't seem like he's salty or anything, which he shouldn't be. The Commanders, allowed him to look for a trade. They couldn't find a trade partner. Neither could John Allen. And then they go ahead and release him, and he gets to sign with other teams. So, and they released him a little bit before free agency started, just so, he could get a little bit of a head start. So, good for Allen and everything, and, wishing him nothing but the best, like I said. So, there was one rumor. I don't know where Sleeper Commanders got this from, so take this with a huge grain of salt, because I tried to see, I couldn't see where they got these reports from. They said, reportedly showing interest in Maryland receiver Ty Felton. I don't know if this is a rumor or they're just going based off of, which I made a video about every, guy the Commanders have, visited with. I'm trying to see if this is it right here, but I don't think so. I don't think it's here, but a bunch of ads. No, it wasn't here, but the Commanders did meet with Felton, I believe, at the Senior Bowl, which every team does, and, some other things. But I don't think there's some, specific interest in Ty Felton that's been reported out there besides the, different meetings he's been in and, like I said, Senior Bowl, stuff like that. Which, they've met with a lot of different receivers, a bunch of different players. If you want the full list, I thought I had it pulled up, but I did make a video about it either, not yesterday, but, 2 days ago or 3 days ago. So go ahead and check that out. But, the Commanders draft season is, we're very close. We're in draft season, but we're very close to the draft, less than a month away. We're about to get into April. So, it is, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. So, the Commanders will see what they do. Edge rusher's probably the favorite, the betting favorite. And then after that, you could be running back. You could, they could be receiver, offensive lineman, safe. There's a lot of different positions. When you're drafting at 29, especially in a class like this, where it's not super strong, there's so many different positions you could go after. You might not be going for, the premium positions in this draft just because, again, there's not a lot of elite guys, and you're also drafting at 29. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys new, and hail to the Commanders. Peace.